Hey guys, and welcome to La Costa Game Day Live. A little bit of inspiration for college game day being so close to us this week. Temple getting to host college game day, big week. But here in La Costa Fantasy Football Land, it's week 8. Quick recap of week 7. Dollar Bill went 4-1. Got Blair another victory. DF pulled the upset. Johnny Conway won. The Champs continued their domination. And Jay continues to battle in first place. So 4-1 for Dollar Bill's predicting last week. I guess he's starting to know what he's doing. So keep to watching the accuracy of Dollar Bill's picks, and maybe it gives you a little bit of helpful advice each week. Now we'll get into seeing some of our special guests this week. I'm Dollar Bill. I'm your host. Also along with us, we have Spice Rhodes and we have B Corso. So they'll be predicting some games for you this week. And college game day, you got to watch all the way to the end to see who B picks for the helmet. But let's get into week 8, and B Corso is going to break down the game of DF versus Jordan for you, so let's pass it over to B.
Hey there, guys. This is legendary B Corso. They used to call me the Moonbeam when I was a running back in God knows what university. I'm going to break it down for you old school style, and I'm going to give you the winners with my wisdom. Yeah.
Also, as each person breaks down games this week, keep an eye for a special part in our segments that we're calling Trick or Treat. What I mean by Trick or Treat is a team with a solid record going against a team with a lesser record. Can they be a treat and win to continue having the better record of the two teams? Or is it a trap game for them and the team with the lesser record pulls the upset and that's a trick? So keep an eye out for that, as each game will be diagnosed trick or treat. Alright, special Halloween stuff here, guys.
Thank you, Dollar Bill. And yes, I will break this one down for you. So we got DF versus Jordan in this battle. DF coming in at 2-5, and Jordan coming in at 4-3. On DF's side of the ball, you got Peyton going against a fresh Green Bay team off their bye week. They're going to be looking to play strong and fast against Peyton, who is starting to look like me. He's getting so old. DF also has the three-headed running back situation of Justin Forsett, Doug Martin, and Marshawn Lynch. So I like all three of those to give him a good run this week. However, his wide receiver situation does not look well at all. Golden Tate's got a tough matchup against a pretty good Kansas City defense. John Brown going against Cleveland. You never really know who's going to get the ball on Arizona right now, so it's going to be a tough one there. On Jordan's side of the ball, obviously you go Tom Brady because Tom Brady's an automatic start. Antonio Brown getting Big Ben back this week, so I like him to do well. Jason Kelce has a good situation against Detroit, so I think he'll be a great start this week. This is a pretty good matchup. Nobody's got any real huge numbers out there, I think, this week. There's no standout for Jordan, but I think he has a better consistency of his group to put up points. So I'm going to call this game a treat, and Jordan's going to hold on to win here. Jordan 136 to DF's 110. And now I'm going to pass it back to you, Bill.
Alright, thanks, B. That was a great job in analyzing that game. And thank you for your ancient wisdom there. So now I'll break down the game of Jay versus Walt for you. Jay comes in 5-2. Battle for first place there. Walt 1-6. He's in last place, but he's continuing to give his best effort each week, so we appreciate that. On Jay's side of the ball, Andrew Luck, tough matchup against Carolina's defense. We watched it as Eagles fans last week. Carolina's defense is going to give Luck some fits, and he's going to have a tough day. So I don't look for him to have a big game there. Travis Benjamin. I learned this week that Travis Benjamin has no drops on the season and is one of the highest targeted wide receivers in the league. So they say he has the best hands in football right now. So Travis Benjamin, interesting play this week, going against a tough Arizona pass defense. You got to watch out for the honey badger lurking around. Going to be interesting to see what Travis Benjamin can do against that tough secondary of Arizona. Lots of question marks on Jay's side of the ball. Antonio Andrews, Eric Decker, Todd Gurley. Can these guys perform well? Can they continue to perform to the level that they've been competing at? I'm not so sure on those guys. I'm not very high on that. Also, Demaryius Thomas and Julian Edelman. They are stable players, so trust them to provide numbers for you this week. Look for them to do good for you, Jay. On Walt's side of the ball, we've got Drew Brees at home going against the Giants. I think he'll have a solid day there. Alfred Blue, can he be the next Arian Foster to take over the reins there against a pretty good Tennessee defense? We'll see how that one pans out. I love A.J. Green and Alshon Jeffrey for Walt this week. And Amari Cooper going against Revis Island could be a long day. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. Neither team I'm really high on in this game. Both guys have a couple guys that'll do well, but nobody that I think will do great. There's a couple really questionable plays on each team. So I'm going to call this a trick game. This is a trick game. And I'm going to say Walt wins this one 128 to Jay's 124. And now we're going to pass it over to Spice Rhodes. Hey guys, I'm Spice Rhodes. I'm a former fantasy football playing legend. I'm happy to be here at La Costa Game Day Live. And Spice Rhodes is going to tell you how it is, okay? Yeah, cool, Daddy. Yeah, Dollar Bill. Thank you very much. So, I'm getting the matchup here of John Michael and Mike Mullen. They like to call themselves the champs. Yeah. I like to call myself the champs at one time, too. But that's a time for another story. And he's going against Mike Marola's team. So, John Michael, Mike Mullen, they're number one right now, so they can be called the champs. And they're the highest scoring team in the league, coming in 5-2. Mike Marola right there at 4-3. I went and broke this one down for you, matchup versus matchup, because it's such a tight game. It's a very good game here. Aaron Rodgers versus Ryan Fitzpatrick. I got to give the quarterback edge to Mike Marola there. I think Aaron Rodgers is just an automatic start, and I think his numbers, even though Denver's defense is good, I think he'll have a better day than Ryan Fitzpatrick going against that Oakland defense. Le'Veon Bell, I like. LeGarrette Blount, I do not like. AP all day for John Michael and Mike Mullen, going against a terrible Chicago defense. And Devontae Freeman versus Tampa Bay. I think those are the studs there. So I think the running back edge goes to the champs in this one. I think that although Le'Veon Bell should have a good game in a divisional matchup, I don't think Blunt's going to play that well tonight. But I think AP and Freeman are going to be big plays on the other side. So the edge goes to the champs and the running back. And when we go to the wide receivers here, for Marola, he's got Brandon Marshall and Steve Smith, two solid plays there, going against the number one ranked wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins and Megatron. This is a very, very close matchup. However, with Hopkins going against a pretty good Tennessee defense, Megatron going against a solid Kansas City defense, I like Marola to edge out in the wide receivers there. I think that the flex play is also to Marola's advantage because I like Randall Cobb and Stephon Diggs to do better than Lamar Miller and Tyler Eifert. I hate the two tight end system, so obviously I'm going to be against it. And I don't think that Lamar Miller is quite the guy that he was last week. I think that was kind of a lucky streak last week. In the tight end area, we got Greg Olsen versus Eric Ebron. I give the tight end matchup to the champs. Olsen's a solid tight end. So, to recap, quarterback, Marola edge, running back, champs edge, wide receiver, Marola edge, tight end, champs edge, flex plays, Marola's edge. This one is a trick. It's a trick because Marola, although it's 5-2, 4-3, he's the lesser team, so it's a trick. It's a trap game for the champs. Marola wins this one 154-151 over the champs. Alright, they've asked me to set up this next game as well because my buddy B. Corso is getting ready to do a little special segment in the game of the week for you. So, we have Team Dollar Bill coming in at 4-3 versus Team Chuck at 3-4. On Dollar Bill's side of the ball, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, division game against a not-so-good defense. Look for them to hook up a lot all day long. I think big numbers for both of them. I'm thinking Ryan maybe gets around 300, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I think Julio starts to come back on track this game, so I look for him to get over 100 and a touchdown. Dion Lewis, he's going to play. He's got an abdomen injury. I'm hoping that he can play long enough for Team Dollar Bill so that he gets a solid game. Matt Forte, I look to him to be a better receiver against Minnesota. Not so much the running game, but he'll contribute more in the passing game. This is going to be a tough one, but look for the Cardinals D to provide a lot of support for Team Dollar Bill. On Team Chuck's side of the ball, you got Mark Ingram and C.J. Anderson. I don't really like their matchups this week, so I think they're going to have a tough time getting it going. I think Odell Beckham and Keenan Allen are going to be big plays this week. I think Phillip Rivers will be a solid play, hooking up with Keenan Allen this week against Baltimore. I don't quite see Jimmy Graham turning it back on just yet. He's had a couple good games, but I think he's still a solid play this week, so I think the tight end advantage is to Chuck, slight bit there. This is going to be a close one. The Falcons D going against that Tampa O will be interesting to see how that plays out. So I want to say that the Cardinals D gives the edge to Dollar Bill here, and this is a treat. 4-3 beats 3-4, so this is a treat game. Dollar Bill wins 145 to Chuck's 138. And coming up, the game of the week. Oh yeah. See ya. Thank you, Dollar Bill, for that wonderful presentation. And now I get the pleasure of presenting the game of the week here. And the game of the week, what a legendary game. It's an honor to give this montage. And me being B. Corso, I'm very honored to do so. John Conway versus Blair. And it's the Conway Trojans versus the Blair Bunnies. The Conway Trojans versus the Blair Bunnies. And it's the Conways coming in at 5-2 and Blair 2-5 on the season. It's a big battle here. As we break down this matchup, we got Conway with Russell Wilson playing quarterback against a very good Dallas defense. He's got Danny Woodhead back in the lineup this week. Smart move after he had a huge game last week on the bench.
Going against Baltimore, I think Danny Woodhead is the play there. Carlos Hyde, I'm not really sure what he's capable of. Larry Fitzgerald, so many good weapons again in Arizona. But I think that Larry Fitzgerald will be a great play here this week. And the Gronk, he's going to tear it up. He's already got a touchdown in tonight's game, so you know he's going to have a big game this week. Vincent Jackson is out for a couple weeks, but you have him in your starting lineup. So that's an interesting situation there. He's going to score about as many points as I do this week. Darren McFadden, I think it's a good pickup. He'll be the starter now. Randall seems to have lost his mind. But going against Seattle's defense this week, I think that's a tough play. And then I love Seattle Seahawks defense this week for you. So Johnny Conway, a lot of great plays there. On Blair's side of the ball, Andy Dalton. He's been his go-to quarterback all season, yet Blair has refused to play him. So I think he's a great play going against Pittsburgh this week. Eddie Lacy, I think he'll be a good play. Denver's defense is really good, though, so it's going to be tough for him, but I think he'll get some yards. They need a ground and pound guy this week, so I think Lacy's the guy there. I don't know if Landry can duplicate last week's game going against New England tonight, but I'm sure he'll contribute somewhat. I just don't think it's going to be near what he had last week. Hilton, T.Y. Hilton has got a tough matchup against Carolina this week. They usually like to shut down the number one receivers in Carolina. T.Y. is the number one guy there. I don't like him this week. I think Martellus Bennett will be a great play against Minnesota. And I think Mike Evans with Vincent Jackson out is going to have a great week against a very questionable Atlanta secondary. So look for Mike Evans to have a big game for Blair. Patriots D going against Miami tonight. I think they're going to confuse Tannehill a lot. I think they're going to give Miami a lot of problems. So look for New England's defense to put good numbers on the board. Again, not starting a player that is out with an injury. That is a key thing. Blair's 2-5, but he's not going to put a guy that isn't playing on his starting roster. Conway is so confident and cocky that he's going to win this week. He's starting a guy that's not even playing. So I think consistency is the key here. B. Corso, in his legendary wisdom, says that this is a trick game and a trap game for Team Conway. Blair wins this one. No, wait. No. Conway's 5-2. Conway's 5-2. Blair's 2-5. So, I don't know. Do I go? Do I go with the Trojan? Team Conway Trojan? Nah. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. You heard it here from B. Corso, Spice Rhodes, and Dollar Bill. Blair wins this one. Bunny Blair wins this one. 127 to 122. Give me that helmet. Woo! Blair Bunnies! Blair Bunnies! We'll see you next week. This is Dollar Bill the Bunny wishing you a happy Halloween. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.